Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing answering Dumpee questions about breakups, dumpers, no contact, cheating, and more. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing answering Dumpee questions about breakups, dumpers, no contact, cheating, and more. A few days ago, I posted on my YouTube community tab a question. What specific topic would you like a podcast about? I received 8 comments, and hence I thought in today's podcast I would speak briefly about all 8 suggestions. Perhaps in the future, some of these ideas could have their own podcast, but for now, I'm going to discuss briefly each of the 8 suggestions I was given, hopefully answering the main point of each question. Make sure you listen to the end because these topics are quite varied and you are likely to have interest in more than one topic. So let's get straight into this. And number 1 was, can no contact work after a second or third breakup? So my version of the no contact rule works by slowly but surely growing the level of romantic emotional attraction that your ex feels for you. If and when this level hits the necessary high point, this is when they will likely make contact. When you go through a breakup, this level of attraction is very low, and after each subsequent breakup will drop even further. This means that more attraction needs to be grown, and hence it's more difficult to re-attract an ex after multiple breakups. So in essence, the answer to can no contact work after a second or third breakup is yes, no contact can work. No contact does work. But no contact works in the regard of slowly but surely growing intrigue and interest in your ex's mind. It starts to slowly but surely grow romantic emotional attraction that your ex feels for you. And they will only want to reach out if and when this level has hit the necessary high point. Now, every single breakup that you have will lower this starting point of attraction. So the journey to reach the necessary high point will be more challenging and long-winded. And of course, it's important to say that in some instances, this level of attraction will never be reached. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. So can no contact work after a second or third breakup? Yes, it can. But will it definitely work? Well, it won't necessarily work to the point of reaching the necessary attraction high point that will be needed for your ex to reach out to you. It will work in slowly but surely growing it, but there is no guarantee that it will hit the point needed before they make contact, and every breakup that you go through will lower that initial starting point. So now let's get into the second comment that somebody wrote on my community tab, and that was, no contact after a year. So my version of the no contact rule will always work in slowly growing intrigue that your ex feels for you. If you haven't heard from your ex in over a year, this would suggest that the level of romantic emotional attraction dropped to very low levels and needs more time to grow. There is no guarantee that it will ever reach the necessary high point, and hence you should never wait for your ex. You should never clock watch, and you should never stagnate. because there is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back, and nobody can guarantee that your ex will ever gain enough romantic emotional attraction to want to reach out to you. Additionally, you need to consider that the longer it's been since the breakup, the more likely it is that your ex will meet somebody new that they're compatible with in the long term. So if somebody meets somebody new after a breakup very soon afterwards, it is unlikely that this will be someone compatible. It's very hard to find a long-term partner, and hence the odds on you finding somebody instantly after a breakup is very low. In most instances, connections soon after a breakup only last a matter of months, and these are known as rebound relationships. But if your breakup was over a year ago, we have to consider the possibility that they have now met somebody that they are compatible with long term. You should never put your life on hold for an ex, because there is no guarantee they will ever gain enough attraction to want to reach out to you again. And even if they do, it could be a very, very long time. You can't be putting your life on hold just for this possibility that they might one day want to reconnect with you. So in answer to the comment of no contact after a year, well, I feel I've explained it as best I can in today's podcast, which is no contact will work, as I mentioned in point number 1, when you implement it correctly. However, there is no guarantee that the attraction grown will be necessary to get your ex to reach out to you. So now let's move into the third comment that was typed onto my community tab, and comment number 3 is chances of getting an ex back after they line someone up as opposed to meeting someone new after the breakup. So if your ex becomes single again, you stand the same chance of trying to get them back than in other circumstances. The problem that you have initially is that they are instantly in a new relationship. The good news is that lusting over someone is different to having a loving relationship, and this connection might end in a similar way to rebound relationships do with new people. So in this instance, explain to me, this sounds like somebody's ex lined somebody up before they ended their relationship and jumped into a new relationship instantaneously with this person that they'd lined up. So this is different to a regular rebound relationship, because in a regular rebound relationship, then the dumper, or the dumpee in some instances, but in most instances as we discussed today, the dumper would have met somebody brand new straight after the breakup. In this particular instance, we're talking about somebody that the dumper already knew, and the dumper was lining up before they ended their current relationship. So we have to think, what differences does this make? Well, okay, they knew this person. They already knew there was some compatibility, but it was only lustful at this time. And being in a long-term loving relationship is very different to having a lustful affair, whether that's physical or mental, whatever was going on. It is very different. And you have to consider that once they have actually connected in a relationship, this is going to be brand new to them. And the likelihood is that this might not last the test of time. Just as I've said previously about regular rebound relationships, this could easily fit into that same category. Now, of course, we have to consider there is a chance these two people knew each other for a while, and there is a chance that this could last long term. But we have to say that in most instances, when people go into a relationship, it is nothing like that they experienced, even if they had something lustful in the past. So I would say that there is every chance that this connection will not last the test of time. So how does this compare chance-wise about getting your ex back compared to if they met somebody new after the breakup? Well, it depends. When are we saying they met this new person? Okay, if we are to say that they met somebody brand new instantaneously, then this is likely to have also ended up as a rebound relationship and not last more than a few months. If we're talking about your ex meeting somebody after a year or more, after we have just kind of suggested this in a previous question, then of course we have to consider there is a chance that that might be something more serious by that point. But ultimately, any connection straight after a breakup is unlikely to last forever. So now let's move into the fourth comment, which was posted on my community tab post, where I was asking for ideas for what I should speak on my next podcast about. And number 4 is, why would an ex dump you but then keep insisting that they are there for you if you need anything? So this explains a feeling of pity or a feeling of platonic friendship. This particular person does not want to be in a relationship with their ex. They don't want to be romantic with them, but they clearly have a level of feeling still. This could either be pity because they are worried about how their former partner will be moving forward with their life once they've left, or alternatively, they might want to keep this connection going in respect to a platonic friendship. Maybe they saw value in their former partner in something platonic, but not romantic, and hence they are suggesting that please, contact me. If you need any help with anything, please do, because you're trying to be that type of person who is really allowing a platonic friendship to grow from a former romantic relationship. I do not suggest that you have an active platonic friendship with somebody that you have romantic feelings for. And as I've also said in this particular question, there could be the pity angle that this dumper may be feeling. They might be feeling worried for their former partner, and they do have a level of feeling for them, and they're feeling pity, and they're saying, look, if you need anything, please contact me. So, in answer to your question, why would somebody do this if they dumped you? Well, they care for you on some level, but unfortunately at this time, it is not a romantic feeling. So now let's get into question number 5, and question number 5 is how to rekindle a long-distance relationship after a breakup. So long-distance relationships rarely last long-term. They need a closing of space, and hence they need to become short-distance relationships. Implement my version of a no-contact rule and plan in your mind how and when you could live closer, but only move house if you reconnect first. So if you want to understand my version of a no-contact rule, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring the bell for notifications, and then check out my YouTube playlist entitled The No Contact Rule. This will fully immerse yourself in my version of a rule and why I believe it will give you every chance of one day getting your ex back. But once you have done this, you need to be planning in your mind how and when you can live closer together, because if you ever hear from your ex again, this is something that you need to be suggesting. The reason for this is, as I've said, most long-distance relationships do not last long-term. So there needs to be a plan of action, and that can be considered whilst you implement my version of the no contact rule. However, you must only consider this. You can't action it whilst you're broken up. If you think to yourself, look, I know that I can now move closer to my ex, so that is what I will do, I highly suggest you do not do this until and if you have heard from your ex and started to reconnect that way. Of course, there's no guarantee this will ever happen, but I don't suggest you move house until you get to that point. The reason being, if you have been dumped and then you move closer to your ex before you've reconnected verbally or through text or whatever the medium was that you used, if you move house first, if they find out this can come across as very unnerving and quite creepy. So please do not move closer to your ex until you have reconnected. And of course, we can't guarantee that will ever happen. So now let's move into point number 6 of today's podcast. And comment number 6 was cheating and chances of reconciliation. So cheating significantly reduces romantic emotional attraction. If this attraction can be regrown, then reconnection can happen. Everyone will respond differently to a cheating partner, and every situation is different. In essence, what this means is that every partner who is on the receiving end of cheating will lose a different amount of romantic emotional attraction. If it's a lot, then this might mean they can never regrow enough attraction before they want to reconnect. However, if they are the type of person and the circumstance dictates that they only lose a small amount of attraction, there is every chance that using something like my version of a no contact rule could be a way to regrow enough romantic emotional attraction for the partner who was cheated on to really start to feel a positive vibe once more and want to reconnect with their ex, even after cheating. It's different for every single connection that has suffered cheating. Everybody reacts different to it. Everyone loses a different level of attraction, and hence everybody will have a different amount of attraction that they need to regrow. So now let's move into point number 7, and the second to last point of today's podcast, based on comments that I received on my community tab post. And comment number 7 asked, red flags in dating? So my suggestion to this would be avoid someone who comes across as needy or controlling. These early red flags are likely signs of behaviour which will only get worse the closer you become. So in my research, my experience, if you see the red flags of needy or controlling behaviour early in a connection, these traits are unlikely to improve over time unless, of course, your partner goes through counselling or some type of self-reflection. It's unlikely that they would do that, and hence needy behaviour, controlling behaviour, generally this starts to get worse the closer two people become. And hence, if you date somebody and it's casual at first and you see this, just be very, very careful. These are red flags, as I would say, because if you do move forward with a relationship, if this does become more serious, you are likely to go through a difficult time because of these negative traits that your partner showcases towards you. It's not something that I would suggest you jump into if you are feeling this negative vibe early doors. If you see this coming towards you, these are red flags. Please, please avoid. And now I will read out the final comment that I had on my community tab post asking people for suggestions of what my next podcast should be about. And comment number 8 was Ghostbusters. So I'm assuming we're talking about the original film. So I thought it was good. Perhaps it looks a little dated now, but certainly at the time it looked great. And Bill Murray was brilliant as ever. So thanks for listening to today's podcast. I hope I've answered the questions in a way which gets to the point. You might say I've really kind of just tried to get to a point today on numerous questions, and possibly there could be more detailed podcasts on these subjects in the future. Please let me know in the comments if you would like me to really concentrate on one of these 8 that you enjoyed listening to. And if you was the person who typed those comments a few days ago, I hope this has helped you. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.